Hi, and welcome to Sixcess Stories. We are your hosts, Christina Gent.
And Eric Ozarowski.
And this is where we get to talk to the members of the 6 Degrees community all about life, leadership, and the power of meaningful connections. And on this episode, we have John Allen, mortgage loan originator at Cornerstone First Mortgage.
Yeah, in this episode with John, moving was definitely a theme. We talk a lot about him moving around with his mom growing up and the lessons he learned from having his own moving company. We talked about being in a position of leadership for him early in his career and a bunch of learning that came with that, ultimately figuring out that wasn't necessarily for him. And it also taught him the importance of empathy and relationships. We get into that, about how that shows up, not just professionally, but also personally. And we also talk about standing out and marketing in a competitive industry like mortgages and the value of networking authentically and genuinely and the importance of that for his business.
Yeah, it was really great. John is a newer member to the 6 Degrees community, so it was a wonderful way for, at least for myself, to get to know John a little bit better and really hear his background. And then I know I already said this is more on the reinforcement towards the end of the episode, but I just really, really loved the way that John talked about his wife, Quinn. Just so lovely, the way that he speaks on her. So please enjoy this episode of Sixcess Stories.
Do you guys watch or listen to Armchair Quarterback, the Dak Shepard?
Armchair Expert?
Armchair Expert, that's
yes.
it. Yeah.
That is, I am religious.
Dak
Prescott?
Prescott.
Yeah, Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott, armchair quarterback.
Armchair Expert.
You just combine your brain. I know it's your brain said.
That's Quinn's favorite. This kind of reminds me of that.
Yes,
Yeah.
That is I listen to it religiously. I listen to every episode. And I definitely got a lot of inspiration from that. Even just the structure of how we do this, of having time with the guest, and then they call theirs a fact check because they actually they'll look up some facts, but it's very much just turned into the two hosts sharing updates about what they've done in their lives and the things that they're right. And so that's kind of, we shifted ours to still talk about different subjects that we might have just barely touched on within talking to you, for example. Yeah. And then Eric and I will just dive a little bit deeper and kind of go into it. So much inspiration from that.
Is it Monica?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's great.
Dax and Monica.
Yeah, do you listen to it too?
I have a couple. I mean, Quinn's religious. That's her show. I listened to the Brad Pitt one. Sure. The Jonathan Haidt one, the guy that wrote Anxious Generation.
Yeah.
Which is a really, really, really good one.
Yeah.
A couple of others that I really like the Brad Pitt one. You don't get to hear much from him, and he was like relaxed.
Yeah.
It seemed maybe because Dax is an actor.
It was funny because when Christina and I first met, I found out she liked Kristen Bell. Is that how it happened? Or?
I mean, I just remember, because I wasn't even really a huge fan of either Dax or Kristen. It was more just like, at that time when Eric introduced me, like, their relationship was very just big as far as relationship goals, right? Like, that was a big thing in media. And so I think maybe I appreciated that side of it, and I think that's what prompted you to introduce it to me.
I don't know. I thought it was early on. You like Kristen Bell. You said you liked a video or a film or something with Dax.
Oh, what I probably shared, I am obsessed with the video of when Dax got her a sloth for her birthday.
He got her a sloth?
A sloth to have for the day.
Have you seen this video?
No.
Ask Quinn if she's seen it.
She has.
Well,
She
Quinn's
has to have.
spirit animal is a sloth.
Oh, then she's
She's
exactly
probably
what
seen
video.
this. Okay.
Yeah.
She has to.
That's funny.
So yeah, it was something like that, and I was like, the two of them were on one of the first episodes. I think you would like this, and then little did I know she's the same way. Like, Christina religiously starts her day with Armchair Expert, and I have all these different spin-off versions of the podcast. But
I've listened to all of this.
So my fault.
Yeah, his candor about addiction is, I think, what's so appealing about his general kind of affect, at least for me. I think that's cool.
He's very open and honest. And to me, I just really appreciate how much they work through. Even in the discussions between him and Monica, they have a relationship that the whole reason why they even started it, right? And it was like they were getting into it a lot, but in kind of more of a healthy way to work through conflict and work through disagreeing on certain subjects. And so there's just so much that I appreciate that they're learning in real time and then sharing it with the world. And so I thought that's a really cool thing for us to do with maybe just more of a business lens, right? And this is us learning in real time of even being in business with each other as husband and wife, and then also just being in the entrepreneurial world, and hopefully stuff that we are talking through resonates with people being like, oh yeah, I'm experiencing that too. So that was our just way of taking something that I'm a huge fan of and then throwing it into Six Degrees.
Cool. That's awesome.
So you're spot on with the vibes.
You knew exactly. Well, and I even realized too, our like cover art for this podcast is yellow. And, like, so is Armchair, and I was like, oh shit, this is so close to
you're far away from a full bite though, right? It's your thing. Yeah. But isn't yellow like the most popular marketing color? Isn't that like an advertising thing that yellow gets people's attention? I feel like I've heard that somewhere.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, you have a marketing degree, Eric. Did you learn that?
Probably somewhere along the way.
What do you remember from school? Is the real
so much, actually. It all applies. That's why I did marketing, because it's universal. But the way we typically start these is with a check-in. So, Christine, I don't know if you have one that you're sitting with.
It's December, so I always just this time of year is always more of like a year end. So I guess maybe reflecting on this past year. What's one thing that comes to mind that each of us have learned from 2025 or in 2025?
Man, for me, I was humbled by my experience with owning a business that I got out of last year, which I think you guys kind of know that story, right? And so got back into mortgage, and that was a really humbling experience for that to not work out, and trying to find a balance of deriving meaning and learning from that, and trying to kind of tell the part of me that is frustrated and disappointed to kind of shut up, right? Because like, how does that serve me to carry that part of the experience around? But I feel like it stung enough to commit me to a direction that I feel confident in, which is back in the industry that I was in forever, and in a role that I think I might have shared with you guys that I managed. I got a team when I was 26. I got a team of 35 people. Yeah. And I was like, I remember I went home when I got that promotion, turned all the lights off and like cried a little bit because I was like, whoa, this is way bigger than me, which I think they say if you're not scared about the job that you're in, then you probably haven't pushed yourself hard enough. So I was certainly not ready for that then.
Yeah.
But when all the college hunk stuff happened and I sold that business and I was kind of, what do I want to do? I zoomed out and was like, what did I really enjoy? When was the last time I was really joyful in what I was doing? And it was before I had a team. It was when I was a solo hunter, right? Selling for myself. And so that it was the kind of that awakening moment of that's what you need to get back to doing. Having kids is like having direct reports. Like I have enough. That's that's enough of a team to manage, and it takes so much of you to do it well that I really like the fact that I'm laser focused on what I'm doing. So to wrap all of that long winding answer up, I was humbled by that experience, but super confident and encouraged by the direction that I have now.
Yeah,
just feels a lot more focused.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I mean, so much of the learning this year was for us was just like, what do we want to do? We took over this company. This was year 4 of December of this year was 4 years in. And halfway through this year, we went through this rebrand we got rid of 6 Degrees Networking and it became 6 Degrees Connections. And I think that kind of started unraveling. I'm like, now we're going down the right path. And like, what are the things that we really enjoy doing? Who do we really enjoy doing that for? How do we get more of those people? So a lot of the learning was just trial and error, but I feel really confident about just kind of the direction that we're going. I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
And there's just some of the stuff that we dropped off of, like, we still want to do versions of it, but it's how do we do the bigger stuff better?
Yeah.
Right. And do more of the things the dinners that you've been to, right? The dinners are some of our favorite things.
The best.
And how do we do more things like that? That's what we're really good at. And the other part of it was like, there's so many great happy hours and places to do kind of the networking part that already exists. So how do we plug into those and kind of piggyback off of people doing that? Because we can do it. We do it really well, but it's not where our heart is. So I think the learning has been more just following, like trusting our guts and really kind of doubling down, tripling down on that.
Yeah.
That's what 2026 is going to look like. So I'm excited about that part of it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think in my mind when I asked this question was more on like a personal learning. And so this year we brought on people to our team. And so the personal development, the personal leadership And just seeing that side of me grow has been really eye-opening, just understanding what type of delegation has worked and what hasn't, and just continuing to shift and evolve, and every person is different. And so just all of that kind of continuous learning and leading a team, which obviously you've already talked a little bit about your experience in that.
It's so hard.
It is, and it's also, I'm very, very excited.
Yeah.
That's part of, I think, I didn't really know before buying 6 Degrees, and even the first couple years of having it, the idea of leading a team was absolutely terrifying. And now that we've started that, I couldn't be happier. If anything, I'm like, how do we grow our team even more and faster and more people? And obviously so much of that has to do with, well, you got to make the money to have payroll. So I got to figure that part out. But that, to me, I didn't even know that was going to be part of my evolution as a leader and who I am. So that's been huge, and I'm really, really excited to see how that continues to evolve going forward.
Yeah,
that's
it's
awesome.
been kind of funny. So I've had different roles in different businesses, and my thing has always been, I told Christina this when we started, I'm like, I've worked myself out of every job I've ever had. And for whatever reason, Christina is better at delegating right now, and I don't know if this is our baby and I feel too close and too connected to it, but it is a very different experience owning it versus being in a leadership position and having a team underneath me.
Yeah
Right. But yeah, it's been cool to watch Christina just be like, oh no, like I just did this, and this, and the other, I passed it off, and then we got some feedback and we tightened it up the system. I'm like, I'm not even there yet. I'm holding on to things way too close right now.
And therein lies the benefit in doing this as a partnership,
right?
Is like you play to your strengths.
Yeah.
And hold the baby close and let Christina do all the stuff that needs to be delegated.
We complement each other in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
A lot of them are kind of overlapping in a really positive way, and then there's certain things that, as an example, like Christina is just like head down, go, and I'm like, well, time out, let's back up, let's talk through the bigger picture of how doing this thing impacts how the dominoes fall. Like she's got like 3 sets of dominoes lined up, and she starts just hitting them sometimes.
Yeah, we're like, I touched it.
That's me in my relationship. Yeah, Quinn's a lot more pragmatic and thoughtful about things. It's a great sounding board because I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
So
I want to go back to kind of your journey a little bit. So mortgage, you had your own business, back to mortgage. Just give us a little bit of framework around maybe how you grew up, what your parents were doing, and what led you down like the mortgage path originally.
Yeah, so my parents got divorced when I was not even 2.
Okay.
So it was me and my mom forever.
Just the two of you?
Just the two.
No other siblings?
No, just only child.
Okay.
Yep. So I was born in Houston. We lived in Houston for about 6 years, and then we moved to Fresno, the thriving metropolis of Fresno, California, if you've ever been there. And moved from Fresno to LA, moved in and around LA for like 6 years. Then we moved to San Francisco. We went to Alameda for a couple years, and then back to Texas for high school. So she always had several jobs. She was just a grinder. She was in commercial real estate, and she did side hustles before that was even a term. And so she was just always working. Yeah. So I think I got a little bit of work ethic from her. Mm-hmm. My dad was in sales. He was in telecommunications when that was still a term.
Sure.
So he sold phone systems to call centers. And so I got a lot of sales exposure through him. I'd visit him on the summers and like every other holiday. And so
where was he located?
He was in Texas.
Okay.
So while we were so I was in California, right, as a kid. And so then we moved back to Texas in 8th grade in high school and moved to Austin, which was amazing. Got to like finally settle. I was in a different school every year of my life until 8th grade, which sounds, I don't know, it depends on your perspective. Like it kind of sounds like, well, that was probably bumpy, but it didn't feel that way. Like my mom was always really good at kind of making us feel safe, even though, on paper we absolutely were not financially stable at all.
Sure.
But it never really felt that way. So she was really good at that. But moved back to Texas and got to like settle in with a group of friends that I still have to this day, thankfully, and then went to A&M after Austin, then up to Dallas after college, which Dallas was also great. After all that moving around, I finally felt like I could root down in Dallas, so moved there in 2003, bought a house in 2006, and lived there until we moved out to San Diego in 2020.
Wow.
When Quinn and I met, she was living in Los Gatos in Silicon Valley, close to San Jose. And I said, move to Texas. I have a house, move to Texas. We'll have kids, and then we'll try to get back out to California. And that was kind of the agreement. She's like, I can't be in Texas for very long. So I'll make that deal. And so she came and we moved out in the middle of COVID after the kids were born in 17 and 19 and moved out to San Diego in the middle of COVID. And it was a weird time to move. Everybody was like, you're going the wrong direction.
Yeah. Did you have plans to move prior to the pandemic, or was the pandemic just like we said we were going to have kids and move back? Now let's push that button.
I think the first summer that she spent in Texas, she was like,
get me out.
She's like, this is not working for me. She's like, I think she said her famous quote is that she was like, my eyes hurt. It's so hot.
Yeah.
In fact, we went back in 2023 to visit my best friend who still lives in Austin. And there was a part of me that was like, I wonder if we'll ever move back to Texas. We have a ton of friends there, a ton of family. I wonder if this will be like nostalgic for her at all. And she said, my eyes hurt again.
The answer was no.
I was like, that ship has sailed. I guess it's like a vacation spot more so than another destination. But
yeah, I love Austin, by the way.
It's amazing.
Austin's the best.
Austin like OB a little bit reminds me of Austin, where it's kind of its own little world.
Very much so.
And Austin feels like that to me a lot.
Yep. Super progressive. I mean, it's a college town, right? In its roots. And so I think that culture kind of has been maintained.
Yeah.
So the intention was always to move, but it just took time to find a job, frankly. I think I was looking for like 2 or 3 years. I mean, I was applying for hundreds of jobs. And finally, I got a phone call from a guy who was like, I used to work with you at Countrywide, which is one of the first places I worked in the mortgage business. And he's like, we worked together. I remember you. You just applied for the job that I'm the hiring manager for. I'll hire you right now. Let's go. And so he was like, come out to San Diego. And so I said, okay, let's go. And so Quinn's psyched because, she's a California girl. And I felt like my destiny was always to be in California. It was like from a young age, it was like just kind of in my DNA. I always dated girls from California. It's like I couldn't, I was like trying to get back in every way that I could. And so, when we landed back here, it felt like a big accomplishment because it was like, now we can start. Now our family can kind of root down. And so we'll never leave. Yeah.
I love that.
How did you two meet? So you met her in California?
We met at Coachella.
Oh, you met at Coachella.
Yeah. We met at Coachella.
Coachella romance.
She went to USD. So San Diego she's been fond of San Diego since college. One of the first friends that she made the first day of school at USD was a guy named Jeremy, who was one of my best friends from high school. Okay. So she was always in like the orbit of friends of friends.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we met officially at Coachella in 2011. I was dating somebody at the time, but every time that I would get single, I'd call her and bug her and like, it was like late night stupid stuff, right? Like 2014 rolls around, we're 34, both of us getting, it's like if you're going to date and have a family and like have a future, it's kind of like time to get started.
A little bit,
yeah. And so some friends of ours, Jeremy and his wife, who was her friend from USD, arranged a meeting in Phoenix where they now live, December 14. And it was like pretty much from the moment we both knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
It was like time to get serious.
Yeah.
Started dating in 14, engaged in 15. Henry was married in 16. Henry born in 17. Sloan born in 19. So
okay. Yeah.
We had to get, like I said, just kind of like get to it.
Right.
So it was cool. The thing about, and you guys will know this, the thing about being married is if you pick well, which up to her, I don't know that I had, but every experience you have leads you to the point that you're at, right? So you have to appreciate it on some level. But our marriage and my respect and love for her has only gotten deeper just because like seeing her be a mom and
Sure.
I mean, it's just amazing. It's a whole other level. So I picked really well. That's what I said for our vows is like, this is the best decision that I've ever made in the history of a lot of decisions that were maybe not so good. At least I picked this one.
Yeah.
At least I did this one well. So
that's really sweet.
Yeah.
That's really, really
She's
sweet.
amazing.
Yeah. I think to your statement of all of the previous ones is what leads up to this decision and picking well.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've never met anyone, even on a friendship level, it's really different. But the kinds of conversations that we have, I've just never experienced that with anyone else. And so, it's very special to find that person, that depth and then that growing love over time, and part of even owning a business together and being able to watch the growth of my partner in that sense too. And it's like, damn, this is really cool.
Yeah. I think with the business especially, there's no veil of separation, right, from your career and your relationship, which I think that's an extra challenge. But I think to your point, it shows you some skills in each other that you might not otherwise see first person, which
Absolutely.
is a whole other depth.
We've talked about this a couple times with different people, but it's not for everyone, number one.
Right.
But there is just a level of, especially as a business owner, it's like not everyone knows like what that's like. Right. And to have someone side by side, like Christina knows if I come home and like this, something happened, she knows what that's like because she's also doing it.
Yes.
Right. And there's just a different level of kind of empathy and understanding because like we're in it together.
Yep.
Right. For couples that aren't in the same business, like, they have a career, you have a career, or someone's at home, staying at home. There's a difference between like what happens in those 8 hours.
Yeah.
And not being able to see it and fully feel it and understand it. Like that's different than, oh, that happened to me.
Right. It takes a couple of steps to get to that depth of empathy. But when you're both going through it at the same time, it's like, I get it. I don't even need you to explain it.
And not that you need that to have that level of empathy, but I think there's just a different understanding of how, like, I know exactly what that feels like or what that experience is or why you're feeling the way that you do. Because I'm seeing all the same stuff, right? Versus kind of like a fraction of it. It's like, I went to the office all day and I'm home and I'm stressed and, well, there was 17 million things that happened.
Right.
And it's hard to kind of understand like which ones push the buttons the wrong way kind of thing.
For sure.
Right?
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, and I think the really, really strong relationships are when I would say most people that I know aren't in a business relationship with their significant other. And so just taking that time to have the moments of empathy and really trying to understand, because I wasn't with that person all day. So let me understand their perspective and what they're going through, right? It's the classic, I think it's portrayed a lot in movies and TV of the stay-at-home parent versus the working parent. And then the dynamics of that, of one of the two being like, you don't understand what I've been doing all day type of conversation, right? And from the other lens, it looks like, well, going to the office and, I don't know, drinking with your buddies and...
You get a break.
And going to golf or whatever. That might seem... Yeah, it might seem that way from like the one who's at home who's dealing with screaming children and that kind of thing. And then the other perspective from the person who does go off to work might think, well, you were just at home all day. Like, how is... Right? And so it's taking that time to really understand the other person and understand what they're going through. So in a sense, it's almost like that part of what Eric and I get to experience almost makes that part easier because we are experiencing the same thing. So I understand it more, I guess, quickly.
I would imagine that being a parent, it's a layer of that. So you and your wife having kids and going through all the late nights together, and like I'm imagining like that's really similar to kind of what I'm describing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely like an unspoken language of experience, right, with them that we can get right to the heart of it. We recognize the same challenges in them, and because they are completely different entities, they could not be more. They say the life only throws you what you can handle, right? Which is, I don't know if that's true, but for sure, like it's just an incredible experience having kids going through that together. It's done nothing but make us closer, and it's such a fun challenge to wrap your mind around. It's 99% joy, 1% everything else.
How old are your kids now?
They're 8 and 6. Henry's 8 and Selena's 6.
They're fun ages.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They've all kinds of, like, their personalities are very there. And
oh my gosh, they are. Right now we're going through this. Like, this is an example of one thing Quinn does is we have a Christmas tree that's this felt Christmas tree where every day of the month in December up to the 24th. She puts little notes from elves in there, and like she's got an activity every day and like a little rhyme that the elves have written, and the kids will come down every morning. They're so excited to pull out the sheet that she's written, and it's just like, I don't even have I don't know what I ate for lunch yesterday, but she's got the capacity to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just incredible. That's the strength of marriage too, is that you get to see this other level or layer of people and what their bandwidth is, and she's just got endless capacity to love and care for these kids. It's just incredible.
So you mentioned the elves. Does Santa still exist?
Santa is still very much alive in our household. Yeah,
eight's starting to push it.
It's starting to push it a little bit. Yeah,
I know. Henry really wants
10.
Henry really wants a Game Boy, right? So we all remember how ubiquitous those were, right?
Wow.
But we've got this now cultural sort of screen time, and how do you balance all that? And I'm like, me personally, I'm ready to get a PlayStation and like play games with him. I'm ready to have that experience, but we're a little bit, so the Game Boy was like a nice halfway point. So anyway, the point of that is, it'll be interesting to see whether or not he believes that Santa truly got him that. Because we saw Santa at Maria's event. There was a Santa at our condo, and he's like, what's with all the Santas? And I'm like, so we have to kind of build up a story around that. There's all these like syndicate helpers that then send the message up to the big guy. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but maybe this is the year where he kind of like maybe has an idea.
Yeah. That's funny.
We'll see.
I'll never forget. Granted, someone at school is who destroyed that bubble for me.
Right.
I was like an after school program, and it was like all these grades all together. So it was just like an older kid maybe. And I had to have been in either first or second grade, because I remember I also moved around a lot.
Right.
So I had a bunch of different schools. So I'm like, which school was I at? And I remember, so I didn't say anything to my mom. I kept that to myself, and I heard it, and I just internalized it, and I thought, well, that kind of actually makes sense. That's not true. And then what ended up happening and like really solidifying it is that my mom, on Christmas, I got a scooter, and it was said that it was from Santa and all this. And then as she's putting the scooter together the next day or whatever, she's like, don't you just love this scooter that I got you, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, don't you mean Santa? And I was like, gotcha.
Oopsies.
Slipped.
And then she looked at me and she was like, I mean, and I just let it go. But that was how that all.
Mine was kind of actually similar. Do you remember? Like,
I don't, but what that reminded me of is it's just funny the secrets you keep from your parents so that they can continue to like.
Yeah.
Right. Everyone's just playing a game with each other.
Yeah, right. Like everybody knows.
Because mine was a similar thing. I was like, I kind of had suspicion, and like people at school, like it came up, and then so my parents would always do things last minute, so they'd stay up the night before. And then wrap all the presents. They would hide them, and like one year we kind of found like a hiding spot where they could be, and it was a whole thing. And my mom got super upset because we started like looking for where, like, okay, if he's not real, that means all the presents are in the house.
I love that deduction. Yeah, like I figured it out.
So we started like going through stuff, and we never found them, and because they were like ended up being in an attic. But the way that it came out was because they were up super late because they'd wait last minute to wrap them. My mom started writing from Sue. All of them were from Santa except for a handful. It just said, Merry Christmas from Sue.
So she started, this one's from you?
Mom.
Yeah, what's the deal?
But all the rest are from Santa. Why is this one from you?
I actually do remember when I figured it out. Now that we're talking about it, we went skiing a lot, which is, again, how in the world would you take a kid skiing on like a single parent budget?
Yeah, that's impressive.
Right? 80s, I guess. The $80 went further than the $25.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I wanted a Tony Hawk skateboard. I like remember exactly what the skateboard looked like. I've tried to find it because Henry's always asking me. He's like, tell me about this. He's like, tell me the skateboard story.
Oh, that's cool.
We were going to ski, and the car is packed with stuff, and I'm in the back seat, and I had to sit under the skateboard, which was in a box. And I could hear it rolling around when the car would move. And I was like, okay. It's like, I get what's going on here. So I think that was probably like maybe 8 or 9.
Yeah. 8, 9, 10 is, I think 10, I don't know many 10-year-olds that make it to 10, but I feel like between 8 and 10 is pretty normal.
So this might be potentially the last Christmas where he's a full believer. Maybe.
It's so funny to think about the last time blank of stuff, right, with them.
Oh,
like you've seen
crazy.
they have those charts that are like how many days you have in your life and all those, and like the one that really gets me is like how many summers we're gonna have or how many winters we're gonna have with the kids, because it's just gonna be gone like that. So
that is a wild thing to think about when anyone gets to like their last time of doing X.
I know.
Which we've all experienced our last first kiss, right? Things like that where in our lifetimes we have a last something.
Totally. Henry will still hold my hand. I know that's not going to last. And with the same thing with Sloan, it's like every time I hold her hand, I said, will you always hold my hand? And she's like, of course I will.
Yeah, that'll change.
Sweet.
I know, right?
You've got about 7 years left on that one. It'll come back though. That one will come back.
Right. You know, my wife always is like, we have to take care of Sloan because she's going to be the one that takes care of us. Henry will be gone.
Yeah.
So,
I
daughters.
can't remember the last time I held my dad's hand. It's been,
You're due.
Yeah,
due.
I am.
He's due.
That's so sweet. Aw. I'm going to hold his hand the next time he's in town.
I'm sure he would appreciate
Okay,
it.
so we talked a lot about like the personal side, but where did mortgage come into play?
Yeah, so I got a psychology degree, which is not super marketable, right? You either go to grad school, which I thought about being an industrial organizational psychologist, which is like, you guys remember the movie Office Space, where the Bobs are there and they're like, so tell us what you do, right? They go in and they
That's
kind of,
one version of it.
yeah. But by the end of school, I was just ready to get out and do something. So sales was kind of the natural. If you have a liberal arts degree, that's what you're going to do.
What was it about psychology that made you go down that path?
I started out as biomedical science.
What?
Because I wanted to be a doctor, and I partied way too hard to get good grades. And so it's not like I didn't get kicked out or anything. It's just like I was just like, this is not the right fit.
This is more work than what I want to put in right now.
Yeah, I was better at partying than at biology or like chemistry. So I really liked my psych class, my first psych class. And I'd always been interested in what made people do what they do and just behavior in general. So it felt like the natural path. So yeah, I stuck with it. And so sales was kind of the most obvious option outside of going to grad school, which I didn't want to do. And so through a friend of my parents, my dad's, who worked at Citibank, I got an internship in their mortgage department, then met somebody who then referred me to a subprime lender, which is not even a thing anymore, but for bad credit. Started there. Everybody that was in that business was trying to go to Countrywide at the time. That was the place to go. Got referred over there from a buddy who I'd worked with previously. And then it was off from there. I was at Countrywide for about a year and a half before I got my own team. So it was like bang, 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 right before I was thrust into management. And it's one of those decisions where, like, looking back on it, there was nothing around that would have told me that staying independent would have been more lucrative or would have sent me on a different career path. But man, I wish I had made that decision. But management was good. I mean, it was the secure, you're in the corporate job, you're getting the 401k, like you have a team. It felt very secure. But yeah, I kind of look back thinking now that I'm back in the role that, because there was other guys that left the bank and went out and did mortgage brokerage, which is what I'm doing now.
Which is very common in that world.
Yes.
Right? People bounce around, people jump around.
It's kind of one or the other, right? You're either in like a big box bank and you're doing in the box lending. That's all very kind of vanilla, right down the middle. Nothing creative, which is, there's some security in and of itself, right? You've got this captive audience of all of the Bank of America as an example. Bank of America bought Countrywide, so I became Bank of America after that. Okay. Millions and millions of customers that you can solicit for business where you're not going out and hunting on your own, but then you lose a lot of margin in doing that. And there was guys that left. I know a couple of guys that are in Austin now that started their own mortgage brokerages, and I mean, they have a team of 50 to 100 people under them that are ripping. But overall, it was a good experience. I mean, I think leading people is like a mirror, right? Like you see yourself through a different lens, I think, in how you treat other people, and you get a lot of feedback that you might not otherwise get, and I think that changes how you interact with people, what energy you bring to that dynamic.
So how long were you in that role, leading that
team? I got my team in 2006, and I was leading teams until 2022.
Wow.
So 16 years, and then when I came out here to work for Axos, which is a local San Diego bank, right, the guy that brought me out here, John Dussman, who's an amazing guy, he referred me to the next two jobs that I got. He was a reference for me, which was amazing. So yeah, up until 2022 when I started College Hunks.
What was it that whoever put you into that management position, like what was the why? Like what did they express that it was like, you are the person to be in this role now? Yeah,
good question. I think it's like the sales blueprint, right? If you're a good salesperson, and I was good, I had some success. I made Circle of Excellence a couple of times. I was a top guy for a minute, and they're like, well, if you can sell well, you can teach other people how to sell. And so it's just like you just get kind of thrust into that role. Yeah. So yeah, not super sexy, but that's what it was. You do it well, you guaranteed you can teach other people how to do it well. Well, and it's interesting that that's kind of what you said, like blueprint, that it happens at so many companies, because that's not actually always the case, right? Like it doesn't rarely does that skill set translate. Yeah, it's like just because I'm really great at selling doesn't mean that I'm also going to be great at leading, right? It turns out that, I mean, if you were leading for that long, that there was a lot that you were able to do, but oftentimes that's not the case. They just put people in that position and go do it. you saying that maybe sort of puts a finer point on how I feel about that experience, in that I was better at sales, I think, than management. And maybe that's where some of the reluctance of, or maybe like the regret of that decision. Although I say decision, that's glorifying it. Really, as a 26-year-old, here's a team, like nobody's saying no to that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But to your point, I think I was better. I think that's why I'm happy now and so excited about this new role, is that I know that this is more aligns with like who I am.
Yeah.
Plus I have the 16 years of knowing what it's like to manage a team.
Exactly.
And like all the frustration that comes along with that. Because like essentially you're putting your success on the backs of other people, and you know, people in general there are exceptions to this obviously, but generally pretty unreliable and self-motivated, and so it's difficult to get them to
harder to your success is determined by them doing their best and wanting to do their best and being motivated to do their best. Here's something about the college hunks decision which I'm not super proud of, but I was so frustrated at the end of that management experience where it's like, I want to go out and do this on my own. I want to be in charge. Yeah.
And then I went and bought a business that was based on other people showing up on time to run a business that's based on reliability. So it's, when you look at it on a paper, I should have thought a little more deeply about what it was going to be like to manage 18 to 25-year-old men in a reliability business. But again, learned a lot of lessons. And if I can keep from managing people ever again, that'll be a good thing.
You've managed enough.
Yes.
It's always funny. I think words are important. I think someone told me, like, you can't manage another human. You can lead them.
Right.
But you can't actually manage. As a human, you're going to do what you're going to do. I can motivate, I can inspire, I can lead. Like, turns into micromanaging, you're going to get frustrated, I'm going to get frustrated. And it's this really kind of toxic corporate environment is what comes out of it.
Yeah.
I want to back up a little bit. So 26 is when did you get into the mortgage? How long were you in it before you got that promotion?
Right out of school. So I was 21 at Citi, and then in the subprime right when I graduated from college.
Okay, but you were doing subprime mortgages in like 06, so this is before 08 happened, and you worked through that. So I'd love to hear a little bit of that experience of.
It was wild. So I was at Countrywide during the Great Financial Crisis, right? And so when Bank of America came in and saved us, essentially, Obama was president. I mean, it was just like there's so much tumultuousness in the financial world and the economy as a whole. It was a wild, wild place to be. There was a program called MHA, Making Homes Affordable, and then another program called HARP, which was the Home Affordability Refinance Program, which was a government-sponsored, you can refinance and lower your rate, and there was TARP funds that were used for that. We had loans that were in the pipeline for a year and 9 months. So, because there was so much volume, right? Because everybody was doing it. And so that's the memory I have most of that period of time, is just managing. That's the thing about being a manager in sales, is you say no a lot, right? Because you constantly have clients asking you for things, or they're escalating things. So you have to say no a lot, and you're that point of escalation, which that can be a grind, because you're a problem solver by nature, I think, as a salesperson. But delivering mostly bad news can really can age you, right? But no, it was a really interesting time to be in the industry. And
you're literally in the eye of the storm of the biggest financial crisis that anyone's ever experienced. Literally in the sales role, selling the thing that is the cause of it.
I have described it the exact same way as eye of the hurricane. In fact, one time, the founder of Countrywide is this famous guy, Angelo Mazzillo, was a really little Italian guy that always wore double-breasted suits and like always very dressed to the nines. But he was a little dude, and I talk about running into the great financial crisis. Well, I almost ran over Angelo in the office. He was in the office in Plano where I worked. I'm 6'2". I'm not huge, but he's like 5'2". And so my eye level was up here, and he got off the elevator, and I'm looking like above him, and I almost ran the guy over. So I felt like I was both literally and figuratively coming into and clashing with the failed economy.
Wow.
And all the background, right, is that Countrywide did a ton of risky loans, and that there was all sorts of shady shit going on. Yeah. So that's my famous Angelo run-in, like literal run-in. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So you made it through that, just to kind of and then so that was another 12 years of just like
grinding.
How did you get to the point where I'm better off what I was doing in the beginning, which was I'm my own boss, I'm doing my own deals rather than managing a team? Like, what was the point where you were finally like, yeah, why am I doing this?
I think the path was probably not that uncommon, right? So I left Bank of America in 2016 or 17 and went and worked for UBS, the global wealth management firm, because I was interested in wealth management and interested in high net worth, working with those kind of clients. I had enjoyed that part of Bank of America.
Sure.
More qualified, more educated, more just all the good things. Tougher to deal with on a lot of levels, but it was an exciting part of the business that I found myself in at Bank of America. So then COVID hit and we went remote with UBS. And I think a lot of people, you're at home, you're sort of evaluating the office and your path. And so I got reached out to by a franchise broker who, as many of them do, represented 50 brands. Mm. So he walked us through a couple of different concepts, brands, and we looked at gyms, we looked at restaurants, we looked at fast
so you weren't actually like seeking that out as like you obviously you had some space where you were entertaining and kind of like open to ideas and different possibilities, but
the guy cold called me, right? This franchise broker, and I put it aside because I was so the corporate dude, right? I was happy, like I said, I had the future was kind of laid out, the management path and all that.
Yeah.
6 months later, I called him back and I was like, hey, tell me more about this. Tell me more about the brand. So it was like kind of a long evolution of getting myself to that point of working for myself, owning my own business, right? And so it was pandemic. So we were thinking of what brands would work. Well, we can't do anything that's going to get shut down. Mm. And that's how we landed on College Hunks, on moving and junk hauling. And they had a ton of support. They're very, very good at selling new franchisees. They kind of paint the picture. They invite people to the calls that are making $4 or $5, $6 million top line a year. So I got the Axos job, had the franchise broker kind of in the back of my mind, came out here and managed a call center. Again, the demographic of the salespeople was like kids right out of college, or some of them still in. Mm. So same sort of experience of the call center, the leading versus motivating and managing, and felt like a little bit of a backwards move, but it got us out here. Quinn was psyched. The kids were in good schools. And so all of that seemed good. But you guys know this, right? The math is a lot different out here in California. It's like you got to...
Different in Texas, for sure.
For sure. And so it was pretty clear that job wasn't going to give us the kind of foundation we needed economically. And so I was like, okay, well, let me call this franchise broker back and see what's what. And went through the discovery day, which you do with franchises. And put in my notice at Axos, and we opened in April of 2022, had a move truck, had a junk truck, had most people we had at one point was probably 20 guys that were all part-time, had our office out in Mira Mesa, and our territory was Mira Mesa, La Jolla, PB, Tierra Santa. So we had a nice little territory. But that's the kind of the College Hunks story. It's 28 months that I was in that business.
I was gonna ask how long.
Yeah, 28 months. We were profitable 3 months of 28, which is tough. And you guys will know this as entrepreneurs, and something that was always hard to kind of explain to Quinn was you go to bed thinking about it, you wake up thinking about it, and it's like, that is something I was not prepared for, was that that's the benefit of the corporate life, right, is that you turn off.
Sure.
Then this was the antithesis, right, is like it never goes away. And it feels existential. If this doesn't work, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Right.
And so every decision just felt a whole lot more weighty. But again, it's important, I think, for everybody to go through an experience that's something like that, where you feel like it is all on the line.
Yeah.
Because you will know yourself pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. I mean, kudos for you to take the leap. Most people don't take the leap. Most people talk about it.
Yeah.
To take the leap in a way that, this didn't work out, and be able to say, okay, I'm going to go do the next thing.
We were really fortunate in the way that the transaction unfolded, in terms of we were able to sell to a neighbor owner. We broke even on debt, and we did seller financing. So we were getting a decent amount of money up until it doesn't end until April of next year. So we're still getting a little bit from that. And so, but there was a lot of owners within the system that had to close doors, had to file bankruptcy, had SBA loans that were close to $1 million that they'd use to capitalize their business. So we were super fortunate, because in 2022, rates went up 5%. So people stopped moving.
Yep.
And all of those trends, the economic, real estate, right, are experienced more sharply, I think, in California, right? Because everything's so much more expensive.
Yeah.
So the price sensitivity, if you're a small business owner and you're selling anything to the community, you get commodified really quickly. It's like the Amazonification of everything. It's like if you're providing a service, everybody's just shopping for the lowest price. In the South, the owners, that's where College Hunks is really big. They're in Florida and all through the Bible Belt, right? And East Coast as well. They started in DC, but now they're headquartered in Florida. For whatever reason, the brand is more sticky down there. Whereas folks out here, I think it's just, there's the level of price sensitivity that's just an affordability thing. People just can't afford to spend as much on a brand as the service, right?
Well, I would imagine that part of it is just the psychology of you could never charge me premium pricing for kids in college. Like literally the name is college kids moving my stuff.
That's right.
So there's a disconnect of you can't charge top dollar for that when you're telling me it's just a bunch of kids that aren't really like professionals trained, right?
Yes.
I would imagine that would be part of the challenge here.
The branding was a challenge. Yeah. And it's like, frankly, when I was out networking, and I'm so glad that this is probably the most important thing that I learned from College Hunks was how to network, right?
Yeah.
Because that's in the real estate adjacent, field, right? Realtors were our biggest referral source. Well, who's my biggest referral source now? Realtors, right? When I sold the business and got into mortgage and went back out to realtor caravans, people were like, what are you doing here? I got out of that business. I'm back in this business. And so there's so much overlap with those circles that I'm really fortunate that being in College Hunks forced me out of my comfort zone to go do that, because it's a huge part of my business now. So
yeah, that wasn't part of, like, strategically it wasn't part of the plan of like, I'm going to do this business, and if it doesn't work out, I'm at least going to build some relationships, build some contacts.
I wish I was that. I wish I had that much foresight. No way. I was like living 6 inches in front of my face.
Yeah.
No, I've even said, you do stupidly, I'll never go back to banking, right? I'll never have, I think I even actively.
Never say never.
I know, right? Like I made it so by being so convinced. I feel like I remember even actively deleting Excel sheets that I'd saved that were like, I won't need this again, and you feel justified in moving that to the trash.
Sure.
Stupid stuff like that. Where now I'm like, damn, that was a really good Excel that I built back in the day. Like, I need that back. Oops. Now I'll just chat GPT it.
Yeah. That's interesting. For you, so those 28 months, and what was the final, like, okay, we're moving. This isn't working. It's not worth the stress, everything that came with it.
Burn rate. Yeah. I mean, it boiled down to like dollars and cents. Like you're talking about adding team. That's one thing great about a franchise is it's all templatized, right? You have a blueprint. There are other owners. You grow by this, but there's a whole path, and it's also very clear based on benchmarks that they set on the P&L for like how much is labor supposed to cost, how much is marketing supposed to cost, and we were always 2x their benchmarks because of the cost of things in California. Like marketing was supposed to be 12%. Our P&L was always like 25, between 25 and 30, just to pay for leads on Google. And so it was just clear that cash is king. That's the saying they always had within College Hunks is cash is king, profit is sanity, and I can't remember the third one. But the point is, you need to have a war chest to survive the sort of undulation of
any business, it's 3 to 5 years, and you need to be able to weather the storm of 3 to 5 years, especially if you're starting out and building it from scratch, right? Even if it's a franchise, there's some tools and there's some stuff in it, but 3 to 5 years, you need to be able to kind of weather that storm.
You got to hang on, and the franchise gets 8%. Right.
That's the hard part about the franchise.
Well, and if you're in a home service based business and you have margins that are sub 10 anyway, and then 8% goes to the franchise.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't care how you're doing. The 8%, the 8%'s coming off.
No,
first.
They got their franchise fee. They get their 8%, and nothing. No knock. Great business model.
For the franchise.
For the franchise.
It's a really great business model for the franchise, and it can set certain people up really well to do a thing that maybe they couldn't have with some of the tools, some of the marketing, some of the systems.
Business in a box.
Yeah.
But if I was to go into business, which I'll never say never again, right? I learned my lesson there. If I was ever to buy a business again, it would be my best friend and his wife bought a closet business in Austin, and their territory goes all the way up to DFW, and they're ripping because the previous owners had built it up to $2 or $3 million annually. They already have a client base. They've got their book. They've got their marketing kind of dialed. So there's so much out there now, like Cody Sanchez. I don't know if you guys listen to her. She's really, I like her. She's great. But that's the model now. Buy a boomer's business that's retiring, that has their systems in place. And oftentimes you can plug in an operator and be pretty absent. But you still have to have some change put together.
Yeah, I've shared this with a few people, but I don't know that we would go and buy 6 Degrees again. Like, if we play it back, I love what we're doing. We're in the right position. We're doing the right things. But in terms of picking like a smart, profitable business to be the owner operator of, there were probably better options on the table.
Yeah.
Like this, we bought what it could be. And it didn't come with the blueprint. It didn't come with the manual. It came with our dreams and aspirations.
Right.
And that's a whole nother level of just, that worked. Why did that work? This month it didn't work. What are we doing next month? Like there's been a lot of evolution around that. And for that reason, there's other probably just more strategic, more profitable, revenue generating businesses that would make sense other than 2 people that just moved across the country to a city where they didn't know anyone and bought a business where the business is knowing people.
Yeah. I mean, I think just listening about the experience of buying a franchise and business in a box kind of thing. And it's, what we bought didn't really have any of the structure, operations, or it
had some bones and some good people and a name.
It had a name. Yeah. Exactly. And so, I mean, it's been figuring all of that out. I feel like we were able to fail faster just with the fact that it did have some built into it. It had some revenue there. And even just how we bought it and everything. All of it was like kind of more working in our favor. But if we would have built this exact business from scratch, I don't know that we last as long as we are in it now. And even with the runway that I feel like we have to continue to grow and our vision for it, it would have been a lot harder. Maybe if it would have been something else that was more like what you're talking about, Eric, of if we would have bought something that's more profitable to give us the financing to start something like this from scratch and go that route, maybe we'd be starting that just now versus where we are now with it. And it's, I mean, who knows? It's hard to go backwards and play the what if game. I feel like we're exactly where we're supposed to be, so.
Yeah, and a lot of that, I think you just have to be intentional about how you're looking at it, right? Because does it serve you, right? And like, this is the conversation I'm having with myself all the time of looking back and being 45 and like how much time is left and trying to just get my vibration in the right place to move forward most effectively. Yeah. It's a lot of self work, right?
Yeah.
With all the free time.
Well, and I read this recently online somewhere, just being an entrepreneur is so much therapy and self-growth because like you mentioned earlier about like having the mirror of leading other people.
Yes.
And it's the same thing as when my back's against the wall and entrepreneurship is happening. How do I show up? How do I lead? How do I respond? How do I make the next move? All of that is learning. And so I'm like, I'm being thrown into my own little version of therapy and self-discovery.
Yeah, just the right level of discomfort, right? Just like the healthy level of pushing. Yeah. Well, you guys, I mean, my experience in Six has been exactly what I wanted it to be, which is entirely different from all the other networking that we do. So I don't know if you guys view it this way, but you're really providing a service, right? The platform of folks to connect.
Yeah.
That's different from all those other sort of cookie cutter networking approaches. So don't do anything else. You have to do this. You have to stay. So
don't do anything else.
Stay focused. Stay focused.
We're focused.
Next,
we're excited for next year. We had you. I kind of heard you say this, and someone else said it the other day. It was like you guys are kind of like a boutique.
Yes.
Like networking agency is kind of what it is.
I mean, I can tell you as a serial networker that, you know how you can crave something without knowing until you got it and you're like, damn, that's what I needed?
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Oh,
I appreciate
thank
that.
You for saying that.
That's been the hardest part for us is we get lumped in. So one, we bought a company that's been in San Diego since 2007.
Oh yeah, it had
and there's
all kinds of reputation.
all these people that are like, oh, I used to be part of that like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And they have a certain perception of it, right? And so for better or worse, there's a name. The name has history.
Yeah.
Positive and negative. But there's this association with networking tied to it.
Right.
And I think so much of what we have tried to really do is this is different. And it's really hard for me to just tell you about it. You kind of have to come experience it and come to some of the stuff that we're doing and the groups and the dinners. And it's so much easier to just go, oh, yeah, but I don't have time for networking. The challenge for us is how do we communicate? This is actually what you're looking for, but you haven't experienced it yet.
Right.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, it is a challenge to differentiate in a description when the experience is so rich and organic. It is kind of you have to come and see to know.
Like come and feel.
Yeah.
Right? Like I have to come and feel what this is like, because to me, that's always been from the beginning. I've wanted to create a space where it feels different, because you're right. I mean, there's tons of networking out there. There's tons of the cookie cutter experiences out there. And I think a lot of people, when they go to those types of events or whatever it might be, it feels like networking, right? And
it feels like work.
Yeah, exactly.
It does.
And that's just not the feeling that we, from the beginning, were like, I don't want that. I want to bring in, and we talk a lot about just our hospitality background and the experience of going to a really nice restaurant. And from the moment I walk in that door, first and foremost, there's a host that's very warm and welcoming, and just every little touch point, and going to a nice restaurant, that's the experience. That's the type of mood or whatever I want to be able to do that in, like, the work environment, right, and where people can connect more. And going back to even the conversation about the dinners being one of the best things. And so, and I think it's because of that, right? We leaned into the hospitality part even more.
Yeah.
And so much of the feeling that I at least have heard from people sharing about their experience in the dinners is, this is the best thing that you guys do. And so 100%. I think it is kind of hard to get that message across.
The Cali meal was the best meal I had all of 2025. Not only the food, which was stellar.
Yeah.
But the vibe.
Yeah.
That's all credit to you guys.
Yeah, that was...
Shout out, Callie.
Shout out to Callie. And that night in particular, there was something so electric in that group of people.
For real, the energy was insane.
That room was special.
Yeah, that was a vibe. I could feel it. It was so fun.
That's the coolest part about it. And I say this sometimes when we kind of welcome people, but it's that night with that group at that restaurant only happens once. Right. We could not even recreate that. If all of the other parts of it were the same and it was just a different day, a different night,
it'd be different.
It would feel different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it really special. But Callie just opened up a new restaurant.
I saw the post on there. Yeah.
Can't wait.
He came out and chatted with us and was like,
he's great.
Very warm.
Yeah.
Travis
he's such a cool dude.
Yeah.
He's great at what he does. So I love that was your favorite meal of this year.
Yeah, favorite meal. Yes.
Well, so I mean, just keeping in the same conversation as how we try and differentiate ourselves. You are in an industry where there's many people who do what you do. So how do you do that now that you're solo, right? And so now it's building out your personal brand. What does that look like for you in this industry? And I mean, I think you have to get face to face firstly, which is why networking is so important. I think somebody has to feel your energy and who you are versus cold calling or emailing or all the cold outreach. The conversion there is so low. And so I think you've just got to be as present as you possibly can and start with service and education. And I also have found that outside of just the referral relationship of I can benefit from this and so can you, right? So where there's some mutuality there, I think you have to have a level of, I don't know if affection is the right word, but appreciation for someone personally. Like you almost, maybe a better way to say it is like you have to be friends with someone before you can do business together. Mm-hmm. So it's less transactional maybe and more relational. I think maybe that's what I try to differentiate myself with, is to have a relationship first and then let the business come so you don't seem so thirsty. Because to your point, Christina, there's so many of us out there. Mm-hmm. And so I think the only thing that can really make you different is you. And so you have to come with you, right? Because I've got all the tools in my tool belt, but so does Jim, Joe, Jane, and Bob, the LOs next to me, right? So I think what I've focused on more so in this iteration of my career are the relationships, because this is a referral-based business. The phone is not ringing with all the Bank of America customers that are ready to refinance. And so it's got to start with me and the relationship, and then we can get into the tactical part of it, which is pretty cut and dry, right? Mm-hmm. Outside of the super complex deals, which, to be technical for a second, that's something that we do really well at Cornerstone, is all the funky
funky income stuff, which that's a large portion of the loans that are getting done right now, because everybody that had vanilla, W-2, large down payments, excellent credit, everybody's sitting in those houses and in those loans now and isn't going to do anything for a while. So it's the investors.
When you're building these relationships and these friendships with people, what do you feel like resonates the most about you personally, that people can they get to know you and that?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I think you have to find common ground any time that you're trying to get to a deeper level with someone than just the transactional sort of normal networking. Like, hi, what do you do? Where are you from?
Well, I think part of it is, one, do you want to get to a deeper level? Most people is, oh no, we know each other. And it's like, but how well do we know each other? And so the first question is, am I someone that this is someone that I want to share with?
Yeah. I mean, that's such a great point, because I think when you do networking, right, and you make the relationships that, okay, we're in the room together, we're in this group together, we see each other every week, we break bread or whatever. But I think the real magic is then digging into those a bit more, and I think that's the work.
Right.
And that's where you really get traction, I think, those are your 10x type behaviors that I've got to do a better job of, frankly. Like that's one thing. I've made this joke with you guys before about the Quinn, if I join another networking group, she'll divorce me, right? So it's deeper, not wider. Right?
Yeah.
Is the trick.
Yeah. And then so much, that's so much of kind of what we try to lead with and model with and practice and preach with 6 Degrees is, you don't need more people in your world. You have, between your clients, your current partners, friends and family, you have enough there. And it's, how do I go deeper with those people that they open up and unlock doors, right? Because now what you said is so true, is once we get to a place where I just like John, and I really want to see John do well. If it's John and 3 other people that are options, I'm going to go with John for this deal because I like you, right?
Right.
And so how do you do that at scale in a manageable way with people? That's kind of the magic question for most people.
Yes.
Is if we just meet and then we go off the deep end, that could be good, that could be bad. It's that was too much. And so there's this art to it. And then what's my bandwidth and how many people do I have that with? And then there's this analogy that we've come across of just okay, so if there's a bus of 15, 20 people, I can only have 15, 20 people on the bus. But some people have been on the bus for 10 years, and it's okay for them to get off the bus. And then if we circle around the block and pick them up in a year or 2 years, think of your best friends growing up. It's we've spent how much time together to be able to have that, right? So so much of relationships take time, and I think people forget that part.
It's true, because you're thinking transactionally, you're thinking about the referral, and you really have to change your whole frame, right? So that, because I think that we naturally pick up on those things intuitively, right? And you can tell. And so if you're not going in really relationship centric, I think you're just going to look and smell like every other person that's trying to get a lead or whatever.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot of effort, right? That authenticity takes work, I think.
It's vulnerable too. It's hard sometimes for people to talk about what they really want to talk about versus the easy conversations. And it's the same thing as the small talk of talking about the weather, right? And it's can we get past those types of conversations and be real with each other?
Yeah. I'd much rather have the conversation. I just feel like the work will come, the referrals or the partnership that will come. I would much rather, and I think the reason a lot of this is, as you get older, and especially when you have kids, your circle gets so small. We thrive on connection, right? That's human nature. And so I think there's a part of me that part of the reason I joined Six is our circle is so tiny that I want to get out, literally and figuratively, out of my head, out of my work, into other people's shit. I'm interested, right? I want to dig in. And there's only so many ways you can do that with the background of work as a goal, but really the real intent is I just want to connect.
Well, I think that what you said, I love that the way you described that, because I think so much of the service that we're offering and with the service that we provide is this is a space where it's through a professional lens. I'm going to meet people that are in a similar spot, different industry, and there's diversity across it, but I can learn from them. I'm interested. I was talking with someone the other day where so much of our lives is random, right? And the relationships in our lives are random. You talked about growing up and your mom moved you all over the place. and you landed in Texas.
Yeah.
Right. And by happenstance, because your family was from Texas, and then you go to school, and then okay, Austin's right there.
So much random.
Right. So it's like my experience is very similar, where like my grandparents, one of them was from off the boat from Poland. They landed in Chicago because there's a big Polish population in Chicago.
Right.
My dad met my mom. My mom grew up kind of moving around a bunch, but was in Alabama. She ended up in the suburbs of Chicago, and now this is where our family is.
Yeah.
And then I go to school, I make friends, I go to high school, I pick a college. There's some choices along the way, but even in like the corporate side of it, hopefully we pick a company that our values align and like there's good people there, and then we become friends with that. But like work is such a big influence on the overall kind of impact of the relationships in our life, where what we've tried to do is take with 6 Degrees is like, where do you get to pick? How can we kind of, here's some people that are part of it, talk to them. Here's what our values are. This is what we're about. Come check something out, or come visit, or come experience what we're doing and see if this is the right fit, because this is actually a chance to pick the people that you want to be around.
Yeah, like mix it up a little bit.
Right.
Throw the random dice out a bit more, because I think you're right. You pick work and that ends up becoming, it steers so much.
It influences so many decisions, but it's not really like, why'd you pick that company over a different company?
Yeah, and it's going to show you the least amount of diversity in terms of the experiences that you have, because everybody that chose that same path has some sort of similarity, right? Or, you know, so that's a great point.
Yeah, that's been a big, I think there's a little bit of an aha for us. That's one of the things that a lot of people are getting, and that's not as apparent and not as tangible. And it's, oh no, like, again, we have people that are like, we've seen friendships blossom, and that's the coolest thing. Two people that would have never been in the same room having conversations that turn into like, oh yeah, we're hanging out, we're getting beers, we're going on trips together.
Yeah.
We've had so many different examples of that. To me, that's what it's about, because maybe it's not even in the roles that they're currently in. Like, that will lead to business at some point in time. Right? I guarantee it.
And even thinking about how those relationships, even if maybe I'm not getting a direct referral from that person, but at the same time, like, how much is the relationship with that person influencing my business, because I have someone in my life that I can rely on for other things, and other parts of my, other cups that need to be filled, and other parts of me that I need to express. And so it's not Severance where we have our work selves and our home selves. We are one person.
Right.
And so all of the relationships in my life have an impact on my work. And again, that's not as measurable for when we are talking about what makes 6 Degrees different and the relationships that are forming here. And so many people view investing in something like this as, I need to see a $sign ROI or else I'm out, or this doesn't make sense. And it's hard to track that and trace it back to what the impact of the relationships here have on my overall life.
Yeah, I would imagine that's a difficult question for you guys to answer when someone's evaluating the opportunity, right? They want ROI, right?
And we have examples of someone that joined within 3 months and had their membership paid for in full, right? And we've had people that have been part of it for 3 years and have like, I haven't got a deal, and I get so much more. To your point, like, I'm getting, so part of it is like, what do you want? What are you looking for?
Yeah.
Right? And for those people that have been part of it, it's not that they're not trying to get business, or they're like, but the value they're getting is through their connections, through the relationships, through the resources that they have for their clients.
Right.
Like, and they don't think about it this way, but it's like, because I'm part of 6 Degrees, I have this person in my group or as a resource. I kept this client because I was able to connect them.
Totally.
So that actually saved me X.
Yeah.
But
those other
they wouldn't
cups.
have, but like, but those, that's not how people necessarily think about it most of the time. Right?
Yeah. And it's hard to put a value on that, but man, when you're in it and you have that, it's pretty clear.
Yeah. So much of it is like, we just want a support system. And to what you said about, like, most people live in their bubble, right? So there's the bubble as a family. There's a bubble in if I'm at this company, I just stay in the bubble. Right? It's really easy and it's comfortable to be in your bubble. So whether it's 6 Degrees or any other, there's other organizations that are great. But I think being outside of the bubble and learning from other people and being part of something like church, religion can be a version of this.
Sure.
Right? There's other groups, and there's men's groups and women's groups, but like having something where it's just a different type of collection of people is really, really important. And then just the human aspect of that, I think, for the connection piece. There's a need.
Yeah.
We're just trying to play a little part in filling that need.
And we're wired that way. And I don't think that a lot of people probably walk around not knowing what they're missing. And I think I had a feeling that like, God, our sphere seems so small. It feels a little claustrophobic that I'm not just getting exposed to different things. And so I feel fortunate that I was conscious enough of it to like make a choice.
Yeah.
Maybe also my experience as a serial networker also prepared me for, wow, this is way different, and different is good in this regard. Right. So the decision was pretty easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love that. Because, yeah, I mean, like, there's people that on me, I've been networking for 40 years. I don't know if that's a good thing. Like, if you do it right, I don't know that you need to be doing it that long.
Yeah, and at the same time,
I say that jokingly.
Yeah, and someone who's been doing that for that many years is probably just, again, like, I want community, and I want to be able to surround myself around people who are doing some of the same things as me. Do I need the business at that point if I've been doing it for 40 years? Probably not.
Yeah.
I get so much more out of just being around other people who might share a similar mindset or things like that, right? So, and that's just that's the thing. Like you said, humans, like, we need community. We need other people in our lives, even the introverts, right? And maybe gatherings look different and they really thrive, in smaller settings, but there's still a need for being around human beings.
Absolutely.
Well, sometimes it's just so easy to be comfortable, and I'm just, if I'm comfortable, I'm not growing. Kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm complacent, and I want to be growing. I want to be on the edge. I want to be I want to consciously be uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. I spoke the other day at a meeting. There was like 60 people there, and I told my wife, I was like, I had to go first, and she just, this look on her face, she's like green. She's like, that would just not, she would not like that. But
yeah.
And if you told me 2 or 3 years ago that I would be doing that, or maybe 4 or 5 years ago, because I was doing it with College Hunks, but I would have been like, no, thank you. But now it's just part of what you do, and so you grow sometimes without even realizing it, right? You're just kind of thrust into these situations where you got to just do it. Just got to jump in. So,
well, and that's funny because I probably would also initially be like, oh shit, I got to go first. But if I go in any other position in that, I'm just now thinking about what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
And that's going to be worse for me because now I'm going over like, oh, but that person said this, and how do I introduce? Okay. And then I'm just overthinking. I'm not even listening to the other people. Right. Like there's so much more. And then the moment that I'm done talking about whatever the thing is in a meeting like that, then now I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Now I can listen to everybody else and I'm good. So
monkeys off your back. Totally. That Quinn said the same thing. She's like, well, at least you got to go first. And I was like, no, I felt like I lost 50 pounds. As soon as I was done speaking, it's like, whew, exhale.
The funny thing is like, that's what's happening in every single person's head.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
So like, how do you get someone to listen, and how do you like have that land? But because at least half that room is doing the same thing of like, okay, there's 3 people before me, and when that person goes, then I'm up, and then what am I going to say? I didn't hear this person, like this is, they're changing again. We're all just playing this thing in our head about, and it's very selfish.
Yeah.
This group, they pick people at random, and so every time they call a name, you're like, shit, it's my turn. It's
like it's in school where you're like, if I'm not paying attention, and someone like popcorns, and you get like the sweat running down the back of your neck, and like, I don't know what's happening. I'm lost, and I'm very embarrassing.
Well, because I mean, I literally have trauma from experiences like that, and reading out loud in class. This one was bad. I pronounced the name of a river incorrectly.
Oh my gosh, what river?
Niger.
Okay. That's a bad one.
That's a really bad one. I was in like 3rd grade. No, wait, hold on. I don't know. I was younger, and I pronounced it incorrectly in class, and I wanted to die. I was.
Yeah. What was the reaction in the class?
In
3rd grade, like, is it not everyone's gonna know?
Okay, hold on. It wasn't 3rd grade. Maybe it was like 4th or 5th grade. I don't remember exactly. I'm trying to pinpoint which school I was in when that happened, but
did the class have like a reaction?
I feel like
'cause it doesn't really matter what age. Like not everyone's gonna know.
I don't remember like the class reaction. There might have been a little bit of a snicker or something. It wasn't like it wasn't a huge reaction from the class, but the teacher immediately corrected me, of course.
And you just died inside.
I died inside. Yeah. I died that day. Yeah. Like I was unwell. I mean, it's in my core now. It was a traumatizing experience. And of course, one of the could it be worse than that? The only other thing, and I think this one is way less traumatizing, or not traumatizing, I can't speak for that person, but I would much rather have chosen this route. Someone said organism the wrong way, right? And so, yeah, I mean, and
that's a fun whoopsie.
That's a fun whoops. Exactly. That is not, that's not like, yeah.
That person's probabably not still thinking about that one.
Probably not.
If they are, it's a happy memory.
Yeah, they're probably laughing about it now.
Right,
yeah, I'm not laughing about mine.
No.
Not even a little bit. I'm actually like sweating right now, like having this conversation about it.
Oh my gosh. It's funny what we hang on to.
Oh, I know. There's so many little things like that. Just
let that go more.
Oh, that one will not be let go.
Let that go.
It's
light a candle. Oh, we have a lit candle.
We have a lit candle.
We're good.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, on that note, I guess it's a good way to wrap up the conversation.
Yeah.
Well, I started off the check-in, so I'm going to leave you with coming up with a reinforcement.
For reinforcement from this conversation, what's in a sentence? What are you taking away from our time together in a sentence or two?
Christina asking me about differentiating myself is a great reminder that the intentionality of all the communication that we have is critical, and that I think I need to come to that with a bit more curiosity. I think I could always work to be more relational versus transactional. And I think that there's a level of vulnerability, was the word that you used, which I think is really important, is that you have to kind of put yourself second and really, really focus, which is something we don't do super well right now because we've got so many things coming at us. So that's my takeaway, is to dig into the next level of understanding someone else and what they've got going on, which I think, because I tend to be so much in my head, maybe we're all that way, that your own psyche is right there all the time, right? It's right behind your eyes.
Yeah. And
everything that you hear is still going through that lens to hit you, and maybe just trying to move that aside to really pay attention. Was that one sentence?
Yeah.
That was a run-on.
It was a sentence.
It had a period.
Yeah, there we go.
I really appreciated just being able to sit down and get to know you better.
Yeah.
The way that you talked about your wife was just so beautiful. Like I could feel it. I could feel the love. I could feel the admiration. I could feel just how much the way that you're talking about like raising your kids and everything, like that really, really spoke to me. And I really appreciated hearing that. And I was glad that I got to briefly for a moment meet her. So I'd love to spend more time. That would be wonderful to actually be able to like sit down and maybe have dinner or something. But it was just so lovely to hear you talk about her.
Love that. And, Thank you. Yeah, she's incredible. I overmarried is what they say.
Aw.
I'll kick your coverage.
You did too.
I did too. For me, I just really appreciate what you said about how what we're doing is different. And as someone that has been through a lot of different things, it stands out in a different way, and in a positive, different being a positive. So just thank you for being part of it, for noticing, and the kind words.
Thank you guys.
On that note. So yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. I could keep going.
I know.
It's crazy how fast it
goes quickly, huh?
It's that fast.
I do have to say one thing. I promised Paris that I would say that he does not like the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
That he doesn't like them?
Doesn't like them. And I asked.
That's his favorite band.
I asked if it was like a Dave Navarro or like a John Frusciante thing.
Yeah.
And he was like, all of it. All of it's bad. All of it's bad.
Oh, man.
Have you heard his episode?
I haven't, but he told me about it. Yeah.
The end of his episode.
Yeah.
Oh, this is fun. This is like our first shout out from a guest to another member.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think this is our first shout out from
that
member
dude.
to member.
I love that dude. He's great.
Yeah.
He's great.
He's good.
He is such good people. Very deserving of the award at the holiday party.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. How cool. Awesome. All right, let's deep dive for John Allen.
What do you got?
What do you got? Well, first and foremost, happy birthday.
Thanks.
It's crazy. How has it been? I mean, I know it's...
Happy anniversary.
I know. That's crazy. 7 years. 37? Is that right?
That is correct.
What? Amor, you're getting close to 40.
Yeah.
Does it feel different?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I don't feel older I think there's just a longer length of time, if that makes sense.
That doesn't make any sense. What do you mean there's a longer length of time?
Like, I don't feel like, oh, I'm there. I'm like, I'm getting old and like rickety and like I can't do certain things.
Yeah.
Like, it's more of I've been around here for 37 years. I've seen some things.
I've seen some things. Well, it was really, I mean, you sharing some of the photos from our wedding to some people who texted us today. And when I looked at it, I was like, oh my God, we look like babies. Like, that did make me feel older. I was like, holy crap, that's crazy. That was 7 years ago. And those photos really made me like, ooh. Okay.
Yeah, it was pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
It was a lifetime ago. It's crazy.
Does the number 40, I mean, you're still 3 years away, but does it mean anything, or does it scare you?
50 would be a bigger number because I think I'm going to live to 100, so that would be halfway.
Okay.
if that math
tracks.
Yeah, I don't know. 40 is just a number.
Yeah.
I did see something recent. So I've always liked level. Like I'm at level 37.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw something recently of reframing it to version 3.7. So just put a decimal in it. And this is just version 3.7 of Eric. It comes with new features.
I think I like that. Wait, do I like that? Okay, let me think about that. I mean, yeah, it is kind of, that's a really interesting take.
Yeah, I liked it. But yeah, either level 37 or version 3.7.
Version 3.7. There's updates.
It's like a new iPhone.
Exactly.
Every year. You get a new one.
That's a fun way to think about it. I like that a lot. 7 years and 4 years of owning 6 degrees.
Yeah. Officially. We made it 4 years.
Only 6 more to go before we are feeling comfy.
No.
According to some of the people we've had on here.
I won't make it 10 years. I need a significant shift to this next year.
Yeah, which I feel like the hiring piece, as terrifying as it is to bring people on, I think it's actually where the changes and the growth get to happen.
Yeah. I think hiring will help us, hopefully, if we can figure out how to do it, but get ourselves out of our own way.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the biggest thing that hiring and building a team can unlock.
It's funny because like on this episode with John, he talked about being handed a team when he was 26, but I just can't even imagine being 26 years old. And it's like, here's a team. I mean, I guess how old were you when you stepped into managing at State Farm?
I mean, I was a CMO at Nix at 22. So, and I built a team.
Well, sure. Okay.
So, I mean.
How big was your team there?
4. I got up to 4.
Okay. So you and 4 other people?
3. Me plus 3.
You plus 3.
There's 4 of us.
Okay. What's, I guess, from that experience and then to managing or leading at State Farm and then now, like, how do you feel going into us leading in this dynamic, which is, it's different?
Yeah, I think we'll see, right? Like part of it is, yeah, I have a little bit of experience. I guess what I'm trying to put in my head and what I'm trying to like have this, whatever the leadership role be, is how do I pretend I'm a coach on the sidelines? I can't play. I'm not a player in the game. I'm just a coach. Okay. So if that's the case, then I can't do anything. Like I can't rescue it. I can't come in and fix it. I can't solve it because I can't play the game. So if I'm just on the sidelines and I'm just a coach, and if that's the way that I operated, or the other way, like the extreme version was like, what if I was just in bed? I was like bedridden from like an injury and I couldn't physically type or do things. How would I communicate what I need to get done? And that's what I've been trying to wrap my head around a little bit more, almost like trick myself into like, I can't touch it. I'm not on the field.
Yeah.
Because I think if we can figure out that part of it and then be a coach in the sense of like all a coach is trying to do is get the best out of the people that are on the team.
Right.
And then collectively bring everyone together to move the needle towards the goal. That's what a coach does.
Well, that's a really cool way to look at that.
Yeah, there's someone actively playing the game, and then there's someone coaching on the sidelines drawing up plays, and they're dealing with the in between, the before, the after, everything outside of the actual game, right? There's not some coaches are more hands-on, some coaches are more, let it happen, right? But it's so much of coaching is the individual relationships with the person, and it's like, how do you get the most out of that person? How do you help them be the best version of themselves? That's part one. And then as a team, how do you collectively pull the team together and get everyone going in the same direction?
So I'm going to start channeling my inner Andy Reid.
Sure. If you want to be Big Red.
I mean, he's got a very successful career, so he'd be a really great coach to channel. Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah. Just look at you a mustache.
I don't know about the mustache.
A mustache and some cheeseburgers.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm down for some cheeseburgers. I don't know about a mustache though.
So yeah, I mean that's what I'm sitting with as we're bringing people on. I think this last year last 6 months we had a couple people that we started working with, and I'm very aware that I haven't been super effective at setting them up for success with creating bottlenecks and having ideas of what something should be in my head and what something should look like, and not being able to articulate that. So instead of it's just like, if we keep doing that, like, I'm gonna go crazy. It's not gonna work. So I don't know what the exact shift is for me, but yeah, it's more of like, what if I couldn't do it? What if there was no option to do it? Like, I don't get to just go out and do it.
Yeah.
How would I do it? Right? And just like, what would the approach be? What would the timeline be? All of that. And I think the last couple of years has been a lot more about making sure things were like, the experience was, what it needs to be. And we built a brand and built trust and expectations around what it means to be when we do something. I think we did a really good job with that. And to me, this year is just like, yeah, how do we make this business profitable? How do we expand? How do we get tighter and build systems and focus on the things that are actually going to move the needle? Mm-hmm. That's where our time and energy needs to go. Yeah,
100%. And yeah, we did a really, really, really good job at the brand and the experience. And here we are. And there's only learning from what we've done and moving forward. Something that, and I don't know if this is going to go anywhere, but I thought it was interesting. We talked a little bit about the last time. Well, it was in reference to John's kids, and it was, that's the last time that they're going to do X, right? Just because of the nature of, like, we were specifically talking about Christmas, and this might be his son's, like, last Christmas believing in Santa Claus.
Sure.
And so it was just...
Which is a controversial topic in itself.
What do you mean?
Is it I don't know what the word is. What's not right? Like, it's more than just like right or wrong, but like, is it right to teach your kid to basically lie to your kids for 8 years about Santa Claus?
Oh, yeah. I mean, so parents are doing that for all kinds of like magical things. And
well, so I saw this clip about it. Was around Christmas time, and it basically was talking about like, well, Halloween everyone dresses up and it's pretend. So why are we lying that Santa's this magical, mystical thing and we're lying versus like, no, this is a time where adults play pretend. And we could do it. So I was like, are you pretending to be a believer or are you pretending to not be a believer?
It's interesting.
Instead of like all the magic. And I mean,
well, because even I think about all the videos that I've seen of these kids being so traumatized of the like elf on a shelf situation. And because the whole thing is like, they're not supposed to touch it or else it dies. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so if the kid touches it, it dies. And they've literally like I've seen parents put like, I don't know, they'll use like chicken bones or something and like make a skeleton of the elf and then put like a little hat and stuff on it so that it's like, yeah, it's dead. It died. And the kid just traumatized. And I've even seen it where like there's siblings and one of the sibling touches the elf on a shelf and the other kids are like bawling and screaming like, she killed it, like just crazy. And it's like, what? Like, why are we traumatizing our kids with this shit?
I think I sent you the video of the Grinch that runs in and steals all the family's presents, and the kids are just
they're
crying.
all screaming bloody murder. That's traumatizing.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I
kind of hilarious.
I'm derailing your question a little bit, but
no,
yeah, there's a like it's just like why, like Coca-Cola is the one that not invented Santa Claus, but made Santa mainstream.
Yeah.
It's all marketing and branding. And like they took a bunch of different versions of Kris Kringle, Santa Claus, Saint Nick.
Yep.
And they were the ones that made him red with the red suit and hat to match their brand. And it's like, why do we
give into all this shit?
Well,
like,
yeah,
why does it like
why do
literally
parents do it? It's one of those, I talk about this a lot where it's like, it's the pendulum, right? Where it's just like, it's like, well, I grew up with Christmas and I loved it, so I'm going to do that for my kids.
Yeah. But I think even like rooted in what you're talking about, there's the parent thing, but you brought up something that I think is fascinating, is this marketing component that literally shifts culture. It changes culture, and it's crazy. It happens time and time again. Santa Claus is a really good example.
Yeah, I think my point is just we don't question deep enough. So why do we celebrate Christmas the way we celebrate Christmas? It's like, I don't know. This is how we this is how we do it here.
Tradition.
it's like being in a company of like, well, yeah, this is how we do it here.
Yeah.
Right? It's
yeah.
Like, we've always done it this way. And yeah, like it's a really interesting.
Yeah. I mean, because especially if we think about people who are celebrating Christmas who aren't religious, take the Christianity part out of it. And for anyone who celebrates Christmas who is just doing it because they love like the holiday and the spirit and all of that, again, like, so they're literally celebrating something that Coca-Cola invented at that point.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Like, that's so crazy. And not to be like bah humbug. I love all of it. Christmas is
it's a magical time of year.
It is magical.
I go back to just we're not parents, so who the fuck am I to say anything? But like, as a parent, like if we had a kid, it would be a very interesting conversation between us. Like, do we lie to the kid about Christmas? Anyways, what were you gonna ask before I brought up Santa?
Santa was also a really relevant thing to talk about because we talked about it on the episode, so it's not really derailing it. No, I was going to ask about just so the fact that there's the last time that this happens, right? My last this, right? Because we talked about that's why Santa came up. I guess, is there any like the last time I did this and it's almost like a bittersweet of I'll never do that again?
Well, if I died tomorrow, there would be a lot of laughs.
Well, okay. Let's just take it dark real quick.
But because I don't have like that was my first kiss was with you and I'll never have that again. Like, I don't know.
I think as for me, I'm like, there was a moment where I experienced my last. I go back to something like it was called Catter Day, but it was just like tailgating at K-State games as a college student, right? That was a very, very, very special thing to me, sure. And I don't even think I realized in that. Maybe I did, but like, oh my God, this is the last time as a college student. My last time like being in the student section side and experiencing like this thing that I love so much. That was the highlight of like my college was going to these games. And it was such a culture.
Why did you love it so much?
There's layers to it. I mean, a big part of it is football has always been the thing that has bonded my dad and I, and even my brother, because he was a big part of going to tailgates. And so there was like this like ritual of it, right? We would be almost the first ones into the parking lot every single game day, regardless of if it was a 11 o'clock game, which means we were there at like 6 a.m. The whole tailgating scene and playing washers with my dad and brother and like the Gent family, we were like undefeated. We were amazing. You put two of us on a team and we annihilated everybody and it was awesome. I personally, I wasn't a big drinker in college, so I was always one of the first like 10 to 15 people in line to go in for the student section. And so I had my spot. I had a spot that was designated. It was 50-yard line, fifth row, every single game, and in the middle of that whole section. And that's where I watched every game from. Like there was just this, it was so fun and it was so electric. That feeling was amazing. And yeah, so that's something that comes to mind is like, I experienced my last ever of going to a game in that capacity. I've been to games since then as more of an adult and just more like.
Yeah, but you could go relive it as the college.
It wouldn't be the same.
It wouldn't be same, but you could go do it.
I'm not gonna go. It just doesn't work like my dad doesn't even have that van anymore. There's so many things about the way that was for years, like since I was in 7th grade until I graduated, it was that routine every single time. And it was incredible. I loved it. Right. I understand I could go back and I could go sit in that section like a freaking weirdo because I'm gonna be so old compared to everybody in that section. Like they're all 19 and 20, like, and yeah, so it's just different. So that's an example that came to mind for me.
Yeah, I don't know if I have anything like that. I don't know that like you were really passionate about that. I don't know that I have anything that was like, oh, this is my last with something that I'm super passionate about. I feel like you do a version of that Sundays at Home and Away or when you go watch the Chiefs games because you're the first one there and have your spot. And
I do. I'm the first one there. I have my spot.
Sounds like
I have my routine.
It's just evolved. Did you have that in theater though, or anything with that part of your world where it's like there's very much the final cut of like when the cast breaks up for shows and for certain things, like you hear about that a lot. I don't know if you had that for.
Yeah, I mean,
the ensemble is kind of done,
right?
And it's this we just wrapped Christina, right?
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit different as far because it's all together. It's not like an individual like rap. Yeah, that's an interesting question. There was one cast in particular that I think not that I mourned it, but I was like, oh, I'm really gonna miss this. And that was for Bengal Tiger at the Baghdad Zoo. And that one specifically because we did get really close as a cast and we were all, as much as we were, quote, like tied together because we were in the theater department in some capacity, we did run in different circles. And so I knew that when that ended, we weren't gonna all really hang out together like as a group or even and small like groups. Like even there was this one girl, Maria. Oh my God, I loved her so much. She was just like this like sunshine. She was so much joy. I didn't think I was gonna get emotional on that. Jesus. I haven't like talked about her in a long time. I was with her in 3 different productions in college. And so her and I we had such a bond, but it really only existed within the theater. We didn't really see each other outside of, I don't think we saw each other outside of the theater at all. And I don't really even know why. I feel like she was such a like free spirit and just in a different place in her life than I was. And so there are relationships like that from being in a cast that certainly, I mean, there's just I'm like so close to these people for, I don't know, 6 to 9 weeks or whatever the run is.
Yeah.
And then it's over. And then we're all doing our own things, or they're in different shows, because the shows just continued. And most people who were in it, who were in shows at all, like they're in several.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a really interesting question.
I guess as you were talking, like 2 things come to mind. One is, so it's like sports. So the professional teams is like every year is different. It's a different mix of the stars are the stars and they stay the constant, but like the team dynamic changes every year.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure there's like this is our last game together, right?
Yeah.
I think the closest, just as you were talking, the second thing that popped into my head was, so when Schoolyard closed, which is the bar that we met at.
Yeah.
But I had so many people, so many really good friends that, like, either from working there or just, frequenting there. I got to know so many great people through it, and it was like, we don't have this place anymore. So that would probably be the closest thing. And there was definitely like, we're doing one last time there, but it was more of a blowout.
Yeah, I was there for that. That was crazy.
We got to get rid of all the booze to drink it.
Yeah, that was a crazy night.
I think I worked it.
I don't think I've seen that place with so many people inside of it, like, ever. Like, we couldn't move. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was just this little. I mean, yeah,
that
was a really it was a small little, very homey, very small team.
Yeah, it's
15 of us, and
very much like Cheers closing, right?
Yeah,
like where everybody knows your name. It's it's that kind of a bar.
So that would probably be the closest thing that comes to mind.
Yeah.
And it was and just so many of those people. It just is like, I'm not going to see you the same way.
Exactly.
I'll still see you. It's nothing like, but it's like we don't
it's
have
different.
this place that was really kind of the glue.
And even just there was people that you got to work with again in different bars, but that team specifically, right? It's different. It's different if it's not like, this is the team, and I know how we work together, and I know like where everything is here and who the regulars are, and we've got inside jokes, and we've got like, it's different. And then when that goes away, it's those relationships change, and sometimes people are with us for a small season.
Yeah.
Thank you for that question about theater.
Oh, you're welcome.
I haven't thought about Maria in a long time.
All right, we'll put her there, bub.
Put her there, bub.